Hello friends, today we are at the Vermi Entrepreneur Workshop. It is the workshop of a farmer who produces vermicompost and vermi wash. He does business with the use of the earthworm. He sells earthworm and he sells vermi wash. He also uses this biofertilizer in their crops. In this field visit, we will learn how we can produce vermicompost at a small scale and as well as at the large scale. We will also learn how we can produce vermi wash in a small setup as well as in a large setup. Friends, you know that soil fertility is very important in farming. We have to maintain the long-term fertility of the soil, especially in the organic farming. For the purpose, we add compost and manure in the soil, which enhances microorganism in the soil. Compost is actually the microbiological degradation process by which different kind of the organic waste materials can be converted into a valuable product, that is the manure or compost. By composting or by bioconversion process of organic waste, we produces stable organic material. And what is this stable? Stable means the production of the compost that doesn't unsubjected under the pre-decomposition process. Again, means that there is no further decomposition. So this all technology produces a stable kind of organic manure or compost. This composting technology is not new. We are practicing this composting technology since ages. Different kinds of composting are common in India, like Indore method, Bangalore method, Coimbatore method, and the mechanical composting. So this composting is not a new concept. Adding of this compost or manure enriches the microbial load of the soil, which in turn enhances the fertility of the soil and maintains the soil health. If the soil is good in fertility in terms of the microbial load, the health of the plant also improves, which increases yield of the crop, and it makes the plant resistant against the various diseases. That's why since long time we are using compost or manure in the field to increase the productivity. Scientists have come up with a new idea of conversion of organic waste with the use of the earthworms. And when the organic waste is subjected to earthworms, it goes through the alimentary canal of the earthworms. And the alimentary canal of the earthworm is very unique in the nature. It have a very complex structure which is known as the gizzard, where the organic waste material is grinded, it is churned into small pieces. And when these small pieces of this organic waste material passes through the alimentary canal, it is blended with the different kinds of the enzymes and the secretions, where it enhances the microbial load and it enhances the growth of the bacteria and enzymes. And finally, the output which comes from the alimentary canal of the earthworm is in the form of the pellet. And this pellet-like structure, fine granular structure, is actually the vermicompost, which is rich in humus, which is rich in plant growth hormones, and having a good quantity of the microbial mass. Friends, all kinds of the earthworms cannot produce the vermicompost. The diversity of earthworms in India is very high. we have 439 species of the earthworms. Out of them, only a dozen of earthworm species can convert the organic waste material into vermicompost. We use generally Eisenia fetida species, Eudelus eugeniae species, Lampito morute and Perionyx excavatus species for the bioconversion of organic waste into vermicompost. Earthworms do not have eyes. It doesn't have ear. It doesn't have nose. Naturally, they cannot see, they cannot smell, they cannot hear. This earthworms lives in a different strata of the soil on the basis of the habitat where it is found, and naturally soil is the habitat of the earthworms. It has been divided into three categories. Number one category is the epigeic earthworms, means that they live upon the earth, means that they live on the surface of the soil. Because they live on the surface of the soil, it is called as the surface dweller. It eats litter, leaves, such kind of the material. And the second category is of the endogeic earthworms. Endogeic means within the earth, means that they live in a burrow, and usually it makes a horizontal burrow in the soil which doesn't go deep in the soil, and it lives on the soil. They naturally live in the layer of the soil. And the third category is the aniseic kind of the earthworms, which lives out of the earthworm. Out of the earthworm means they live in a deep burrows of the soil. They make a very long deep burrow. Usually these burrows are vertical in position and they live in deep soil. The earthworms, those live on the surface of the soil, means are the epigeic earthworms. They are highly pigmented in the color because they have the chances of exposure of the light, while the earthworms, those live in the soil or out of the earth, means that of the deeper layer of the soil, in which endogeic and the aniseic kind of the earthworms comes. They are not very pigmented. They do not have chances of exposure of the light. While in general, if you see that these earthworms having a dark color over the above layer surface of the body, means that the dorsal surface of their body is usually dark in color. In general, we use epigeic, means the surface dweller kind of the earthworms, for the vermicomposting, while endogeic and the aniseic kind of the earthworm usually are not subjected for the bioconversion of these organic waste material. On the basis of the habitat, like other animals, earthworms have been divided into two categories. One is the exotic. Exotic means they do not belong to our country, their origin is different. While the earthworms, those belong to our country, they are known as the native or indigenous species of the earthworms. Friends, the common vermicomposting worms are Eisenia fetida and Eudelus eugeniae earthworms. Eisenia fetida is an American species, while the Eudelus eugeniae is an African species. Both are exotic in the nature. And if you look at the another species, which is Perionyx excavatus, is a native species of India. Usually we choose those kind of the earthworms where productivity is higher. They can produce large amount of the earthworms, their breeding rate is high, and they can eat large amount of the organic waste. This is the basic criteria of the selection of the earthworms. If someone wants to start the vermicomposting as a business or for their own use, it should have some of the basic requirement. Number one is the organic waste. There should be a regular supply of the organic waste, and for the selection of the organic waste, it is better to use cattle dung. And if you do not have sufficient amount of cattle dung, you can also apply the biodegradable organic waste material like the residue of any crop. But you should not use straw, because during the decomposition process of the straw, a large amount of the heat releases, and it makes uncomfortable to earthworms to live in a high temperature. So you have to select such kind of the organic waste. Those can be easily digested, or it is better to use the pre-decomposed material. And this pre-decomposition process, where the organic waste material churned into small pieces, and it is better to blend it in a slurry of dung. And this slurry, cow dung slurry especially, is the consortium of a large number of the microbes, and these microbes enhances the microbial degradation process of the organic waste, and that is the best food material for earthworms. Second thing, you must have the regular supply of the water, because water is the most requirement of the earthworms. And third requirement is naturally is earthworms, which is the vermicomposting earthworms. Vermicomposting earthworms nowadays are available to with the different government agencies, and certain private companies are also joining this venture to promote this technology. But during the selection of the earthworm, you have to choose the earthworm which have the high breeding rate. Friends, this vermicomposting technology, where the composting is subjected with the use of the earthworms, where the inoculating material is the earthworm, is a aerobic degradation process, and where oxygen is necessary. You must remember that 10 to 20% oxygen is necessary for the composting process. And the temperature is another important factor for the vermicomposting technology. The ideal temperature is between 20 and 25 degrees centigrade. While these vermicomposting species can survive between 5 and 35 degrees centigrade, this is also the one of the reason of selection of the vermicomposting species, because these species are resistant against the extreme conditions. And third thing is the moisture. About 40 to 60% moisture is necessary to maintain the population of the earthworms. You have seen that three factors are very important for this technology. One is the water, another is the worms, and number third was the organic waste material. A part of this, shade is also the requirement of this technology. Farmers can start this venture under the shade. You must remember that in the organic farming, we have to use the available resource material. There is no need to go through the big infrastructure. You have to try with the available resources to get maximum output. Let's get started how to produce the vermicompost. This technology is used by the farmers on two aspects. One is for their own purpose and the another is for their business. On the basis of the requirement of the entrepreneur or the farmers, this technology has been divided into two aspects. One is the small scale vermireactor, number two is the large scale vermireactor. In a small scale vermi reactors, there are three kinds of the bins where the vermicompost can be produced in a small bin. That bins may be of a polythene bag, or it may be of a styrofoam or any other metal container you have at your place, or you can start this technology in a wooden box. Then you can directly place the organic waste material, and it is always advised to cut this organic waste material into a small pieces and introduce earthworms into the bins. And then you have to cover this bin by a gunny bags, and it is good to keep this gunny bag moist. Small scale vermi reactors, or the small scale technology, have been divided into three kinds on the basis of the bins. Number one is a non-continuous bin, and in a non-continuous bin, different bins are not connected with each other. Directly you can place the organic waste material in a poly bag or any other material. Usually we do not advise to start this technology in a poly bag. So you can have any other available box, and you can put the organic waste and directly earthworms, and then just cover the bag or the bin with gunny bags. After 40 days, you will see a black color granular structure over the bed. This black color granular pellet-like structure is actually the vermicompost. Non-continuous bin, there is a hard task about the harvesting of the compost. We can say that it is little bit a daunting task to collect this vermicompost. It is a labor extensive. While in the continuous vermi bins, we have horizontal continuous bin where two bins are connected with each other. So if, suppose you have two bins, and these bins are connected with each other, and in one bag you just start the technology, and when this organic waste is completely finished, then and it is completely composted, it is eaten up by the earthworms, then you can put the fresh organic waste into another bin, because there is not feed material available in the compost. So naturally earthworms will migrate with the connection into the another bags, and so we can easily harvest this vermicompost. While there is another category is the vertical stack-like structure, which is known as the vertical continuous vermi bin, where the different trays of vermicompost are stacked together vertically. Suppose there is a tray, and you subjected the organic waste and the earthworm in this tray, and when this organic waste is completely finished, these earthworm migrate into the upper layer, and when it is finished, when it is eaten up, earthworm migrates to the upper layer. There is a very little difference in the horizontal flow and the vertical flow. In the horizontal flow, two bins are connected together horizontally, while in the vertical flow, the different trays are connected together one after the another in a vertical fashion. Another technology is the windrows technology. It is a large scale production technology where the farmers or the entrepreneur want to take up this technology as a business. It is known as windrows because the different beds can be stacked on a floor. The drawback of this technology is that it is nutritionally not much efficient like the bin technology, because there is a chances of leaching of nutrient materials, as well as there is a chances of volatilization of the nutritionally important elements. Otherwise, it seems easy and farmer can produce large amount of the vermicompost with this technology. Sometimes we think that because there is a no barrier and there may be a chances of escaping of the earthworms, but usually it doesn't happen because there is a large amount of the organic waste material, so earthworms prefer to live in the bed material. There is a standard size of the production of the large scale vermi technology or the windrows technology. You just start on a floor and you can put a layer of the gunny bag on the floor. A floor you can select as per your availability. You can start this windrows method in a cemented floor, or you can start on an earthen floor. In the windrows technology, we think that there is a chances of escaping of the earthworms. You must remember these vermicomposting worms do not escape because they feed on this organic material, and if you subjected the vermi bed on the earthen floor, they will not enter into the soil because they don't prefer to eat the soil. And just start this technology, just spread any available agro-industrial residue, or if you have gunny bags or any other waste material available at your farmhouse, then you can just spread it. And it is advised to start this technology with a standard pattern, like you have to make a 10-foot long bed and about 3 foot width of the bed is advised, and then you just keep all these organic waste material along with the cattle dung in this shape, and the height of this bed should not increase above 1 feet. If you are going to stack several beds at your farmhouse, then it is advised to keep distance about 2 feet between 2 beds, so the person or the labor who is working at the farmhouse can do easily. And this will be easy to harvest the vermicompost. Once you stack this bed, then just put your hand and check your temperature if it is okay, and then you have to cover the bed and just maintain the moisture. That's all for today. In the next lecture, we will discuss about the inoculation of the earthworms into vermibed, and we will discuss the harvesting technology of vermicompost. Thank you so much for watching this video.